Hello, hello, hello. Hi, and welcome. I am Sylvia Hayes, and you are watching Good News at Prime Time. Today, our topic is don't tell me I have forgotten my topic just that quick. It's the pros and cons of aging. The pros and cons of aging. That's what we're going to be talking about. I just had my 65th birthday and I feel like I'm 35. So to me, that's a good thing, but everybody can't say that for themselves. There are a lot of people who are worse condition than I am. So it is a blessing. You hear me? A blessing to live to get to be 65 and older. Of course, I plan to live till I'm 100 years old. And if God want me to live longer than that, I will. I will not complain at all. Healthy, wealthy, and wise. That's my goal. Uh, so don't forget my book, Power Thoughts, Empowering You to Be Successful in Life. Let me put it up there real good so you can see it. Empowering You to Be Successful in Life. That is my book, Power Thoughts. You can get that at Amazon. Just Google the book. You can get it at Amazon or go to my website, aandkproductions.com, and order it from there. Lulu.com. A lot of places have the book already, and it's a very powerful book. It is enlightening. You would really enjoy it. So this week, let's touch on real quick the election. We just had an election for the senator, the runoffs between Herschel Walker and Senator Warnock. Okay. What I want to say is, even though I was not for Herschel Walker because I didn't think he was suitable for the job because of all the stuff he'd done and then knowing that he had brain damage, and you can tell from his conversations and stuff, I did not think that he was suitable for the job. And I'm glad he didn't get it. But what I want to do is give him praise for the way he conceded. Okay. I was very proud of him. He didn't hoop and holler and say it was cheating, none of that kind of stuff. He did it very gracefully. And I'm going to say kudos to Herschel Walker. Even though I didn't want you to win, I think you did a very good job in conceding. And that's what I want to say about that, because I was proud of him versus everybody else who was talking about it was cheating. They want to recount and all that kind of stuff. He let it go. He know he didn't win. He let it go. And so I was glad that he did do it that way. And now he's going to have other problems because people are going to be looking at him for things he said during his campaign. So right now, I feel a little anger towards Trump for getting him into this race because it was all about the agenda. And they didn't care who they had as long as they had somebody there to beat the Democrat. And they chose him. They was using Herschel Walker. And I don't like that. That I do not like. And so, but I didn't want him to win. But I'm proud of him for the way he conceded and did his job, walked away. Yeah. So that's what I got to say about that. So now, aging, the pros and cons. Let's bring on my co-host, Mr. Reggie Drama, and let us talk about that. Hi, Reggie. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Miss Sylvia. Having a senior moment. This is a subject matter I don't have to study for. I don't have to Google. I'm just going to be a junior, senior on the block. But one thing I wanted to add about our brother Herschel Walker, Donald Trump just endorsed and just gave Senator Warnock a lot of praise. So, oh yeah, this thing goes back and forth. Politics is what it is. That's one of the reasons I always say we need to buy, lease, rent, or own a politician. It's a lot of stuff going on. What's the governor, Brian Kemp? He's being picked for a potential vice presidential nominee. So there's a lot going on. That might be another opportunity for Stacey to run again, because once he relinquishes that seat, we'll be voting for a new governor. So it's a lot of stuff on the table. Politics is very interesting.
Yes, it
Uh,
is.
so, just putting it out there, but I definitely want everybody to dial in, listen in, like, share, subscribe to Square Mile Media Atlanta. We got a lot of good things going on over here. And, definitely hit that notification button.
Mhm.
If you're a senior citizen, you definitely need to hit it because you might forget, and seniors, we don't forget. We just have senior moments. Okay.
Mhm.
Uh, it is what it is.
Yeah, I have a tendency to say is information overload. You
Oh,
know,
yeah. We
it's
know
all
too
you
much. We've been
got. Yeah,
studying.
it's information overload because your brain can only hold so much stuff. You know, you fill it up and then other stuff just leak off to the side. you
Mhm.
know, because we can't remember everything.
It is what it is. I mean, look at computers. You can put so much into a computer. Every now and then, you got to flush the database, cleanse it,
Hmm.
debug it, stuff like that. So, as we grow through the years, uh, yeah, it's a lot. We got to scrub these hard drives. You know what I'm saying? Up
Yeah,
here.
yeah, we do, and it is so important that we keep those brains healthy.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, a lot of people don't realize that the medicines they take can take away their brains. Listen to me, take away their brains, damage their brains, cause them to have memory loss and enhance Alzheimer's and all of that kind of stuff. So you do need to do the brain enhancement thing like fish oil. You know, that's one of the things. B's, vitamin B's. Just vitamins, period. Eating right.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
because I know the medicine that you take for cholesterol, it can
Hmm.
actually damage your brains because
Ooh.
your
Yeah.
brain is made from cholesterol.
Right.
And when you're taking cholesterol medicine, you're deteriorating your brains. You know,
Mm.
so you want to try to not have cholesterol, but you want to do it right. You
Mm.
know, you want to do
Well,
it
you bring up a good point. When you think about it, uh, we're who they call the baby boomers. Anybody born after what 1945, we're called the baby boomers. We did more than any generation prior to us. If you just, I mean, you can count slavery, you can count everything in there, from the times of wow, the generation called the baby boomers, us. We've done more in a shorter period of time. You can go back to BC. You look at the things we've done as a group, as a people. We're the first generation because if you look at your parents, I look at my parents, uh, they pretty much worked and that was about it. Okay. They
right.
just worked to kind of raise the kids and stuff like that. Well, the baby boomers are a little bit different. We kind of
Yeah.
special. We live longer, we're healthier. You know, you don't catch a lot of people. I think about my grandmother, they were sitting on the porch when they were 60 years old, just walking away in the rocking chair, just kick back, drinking lemonade, uh, like that. That was casual life. It didn't matter what type of social economical platform you come from. That was life. It was kind of like Mayberry, like Andy Griffin and those. You just kind of took it easy, kicked back, and that's what you did until you died. Not
Mm-hmm.
us, not the baby
No.
boomers. Because we're part of the scientific population where they found out about a lot about nutrition. We saw a lot of people, we started paying a little bit more attention, especially uh, after the 80s and 90s. We paid attention to our diet. We paid attention to what we were eating. We paid attention to what we needed to do. We were introduced to people like Jack LaLanne. Remember Jack LaLanne?
Mm-mm.
The he was he was an exercise guy. He came on uh when I was growing up. I was about 8, 9 years old. Jack LaLanne lived to be, I think he made it to about 80 or 90, but He was an older guy, do it, exercise, all that stuff. He was like the juicer. Remember the juicer?
Yeah.
You remember Little Richard? What's that? Richard Simmons? All
Remember
these
Richard
folk.
Simmons? Yeah.
Yeah,
With all that
they
hair.
changed the game. Everybody got into health, nutrition. So we paved the way for the generation that's coming behind us. We living
Mm-hmm.
longer. Seniors are doing so much more. We're basically we created a new category
Oh,
because
really?
you know, yeah, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Usually you just had you had people from from 0 to 12. They were called preteens. Then
Yeah.
you had people from what 13 to what 19. They were called
19.
teenagers. Then you
Yeah.
had people from like 20 to about 30. They were called young adults. Then you
Mm-hmm.
got people from 30 to about maybe 40. They became, it used to go from
They were.
30 all the way to about 70. They were called adults. Well, when the baby boomers came, we changed the game. We became another category. We became active adults. We the adults. That's when you saw grandmama might be at the club. Grandmama planning a trip, a
Mhm.
vacation. She going places. She's just not sitting down rocking on the rocking chair. Granddaddy got an earring in his ear after grandmama died. The cougars came out. Women started, men, you got the sugar daddies. You always had sugar daddies, but you had men in
Yeah.
their 60s, especially when Viagra came out. Brothers started being in their 60s, started stepping. Because, granddaddy used to sit on the porch, smoke his little pipe, and that was pretty much it. He couldn't chase the women no more. Now you got what? You got in the age of Viagra, you got guys in their
Virus,
80s and 90s.
Cialis.
Cialis, they still out there kicking it. So that's a whole
Mm-hmm.
different population group. You got guys running marathons at 80 and 90 years old.
Yeah.
Or you
They're not
got
sitting
women.
down like they used to.
Oh yeah, they ain't sitting down waiting on the watching the paint dry as they rock away in a wheel in a rocking chair. You know, this is the
Right.
age of if your joints start hurting, you get a hip replacement, you get a open heart surgery, a bypass, you get hormone injections, you get stem cells. So we just changed the game.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, we
science.
did. Yeah. And uh when I remember when I was younger, somebody 50 years old, they were old. You
Ooh,
know,
yeah.
look,
Oh yeah.
I remember when I was in junior high, a 20-year-old was old because this girl was dating this guy at 20. I'm going, that old man? Why she dating that old man? And he was 20 years old,
Mm.
and now a 20-year-old is a kid, you
Oh
know?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's
Well,
uh, and you think about it. Um, like I say, now the big thing in our generation, what we call junior seniors. These are people anywhere from 55, because you had to get a new category, 65 to about 75. These are people that say, well, you know uh, what are my biggest worries? When you were, less than 12 years old, the biggest worries was just wanting to go outside and have some fun, have recess. Then when you got teenage years, you started worrying about girls and boys and girls and boys. Then you got a little bit older, you started worrying about making a living, getting a job. Um, what you gonna do? Some type of career. And then as you got older, you start figuring out raising a family. Somewhere between 30 and maybe 45, you raised a family, and maybe you became a grandparent around about 45 or 50. After about 45 or 50, you in your 60s, all your kids gone. So you
yeah.
started, like grandmama them said, come back home, stay here with me. I mean, you might call grandmama and she gone. She on a cruise. This
Mm-hmm.
before COVID. You call granddaddy, he out, Everybody's out doing things. They got a more active life. So the seniors now, we have a more active life than say my mom. And I know a senior right now, she's 100 years old. Miss Lawrence, I put a shout out to her, one of my mom's buddies. She just turned 100 last week, I believe. And she still lives by herself. Okay.
Mm.
I remember her telling my mom, she said, Edith, you need to get up and start moving. Because she's the only one could talk to my mom because she was 100 and my mom was like 90, 91. So she could put my mom in check. So as we get older, we go through those numbers. And like I said, this is the perfect time to be a senior person. The things that we worry about now is having enough money.
Yeah, but you know what? That's the younger generation worry, but when you become a senior, you don't worry as much.
Mm.
Because you're gonna have that guaranteed income from Social Security, majority of the people. And
Social
then you got,
insecurity.
huh?
Social insecurity. Social
Yeah,
insecurity. We
social
the first
insecurity.
generation, believe it or not, we are that generation that retired from places.
Hmm.
You look at even white people. Most people didn't retire. They didn't start retiring. We the first generation to have benefits, retirement. So we a different generation. You know, we look at stuff a little bit different. Like I said, we look at money, but like you say, if you work for a job for 30, 40 years, you got
Yeah.
a pension coming, you got some money coming. You go to the mailbox, like many of my buddies, they said, Drum, we go to the mailbox. I said, the heaviest thing I ever carry is my check. And then they started getting it directed, deposited. You're getting your social security, you
Hmm.
got your money from your job. So a lot of people in our age group looking at retirement, and they looking at it different. They're going on cruises, they're going on to different countries, they're traveling. Uh, like I said, money becomes less of an issue, but money becomes an issue if your health has been compromised.
Yes.
Because one of the disadvantages, we say the pro and the con, one of the disadvantages of the baby boomers, we did everything.
Yeah.
The baby boomers was the most experimental on drugs. You got a lot of baby boomers, worked, got high, and worked and got high, worked, got high, and made kids, made families. They still living. A lot of baby boomers, because you can take a pill or something for your whatever it is, uh, you can still go on. You got people now with heart transplants, still pumping. You got people with hip replacements. Uh, artificial hearts. Used to when in my grandmother in them days, if you went in for a heart transplant, you could pretty much say that was it. You wasn't coming home. Now you
Mm.
got so many people. You got a whole millions of people with pacemakers. You know, you got people with kidneys, artificial kidneys. You got people with all kind of additional. That's the advantage of us. But what we destroyed a lot because of what we were eating, what we did. We was that reckless generation. We experimented with a whole lot of things, and we still put ourselves in position so we could live longer. The extension of life is much longer. When even though my grandparents, both of them, I think my granddaddy was like 76, my grandmother was about 86, my mother was like 91. They got a long, good life, but you got people now. When we get to our 80s, uh, a lot of things will be wiped out, just like the measles and smallpox and uh, uh, a lot of things were eradicated during our generation. At some
Hmm.
point, we're going to overcome Alzheimer's, high blood pressure, diabetes, and all those things. And you could take a pill to get all that stuff in check. But the biggest thing we have concerned about is our health, because
Yeah.
I find people that say, drummer, my goal was when I retired from my job, I was going to buy me a Mercedes Benz. That Mercedes Benz was, if you had it, I was going to pay cash money for it. But when I retired from my job, I found out that I had rheumatoid arthritis. I
Yeah.
found
And you
out I
know
got
that's the bad part about aging. That's the
mm-hmm,
con part. Regardless as to how well you take care of your body, parts gonna still start to fail.
gonna
Your
break
heart
down.
gonna go out, your eyes gonna fail. You might not have any diseases, but they still gonna fall apart, just like a car. You can
Hmm.
take care of that car, but that doesn't mean that battery not gonna die on you.
Yeah, you're gonna have to get
So
a new one.
yeah, that doesn't mean that the alternator is not going to go out. So got to get new parts. Well,
Yeah.
hopefully with your body, you don't have to get new parts, but it's going to
Well,
start
some people
building on.
getting new parts. The new
I
parts working
know.
well.
Yeah,
You know.
getting hip replacement, knee replacement,
Yeah.
pacemakers, and all that kind
Yeah.
of stuff. So
Artificial
we have
limbs.
to, yeah, we have to take care of our bodies as much as possible, so it won't be such a burden. You
Mm,
know, I ain't gonna say you won't have any problem, but it won't be as much. And you got to
mm.
still exercise, even though you retire. Still get out and go, because those people who retire and just sit around. Have you ever seen a person who retired and soon they died
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
because
Well, life
they didn't have a reason
expectancy.
to live?
Well, the life expectancy, I think, is a little different. It's getting better, but most people, if they retire, this is one of the problems of the baby boomers. We living longer. See, it used to be a time if you retired, you only had about 3, 4, 5 years after you retired. You went fishing, and that was pretty much it. Or you joined your church and you did missionary work in the community or whatever, whatever. But the people have extended their lives. One of the things, if you retire and you just sit at home, well, you can put a pin in that. You might be gone in the next 5 to 10 years. There are people that were in the
Or
military
less.
or less, that
Yeah.
retired. They said, man, Bob, John, he got that. He got about 5 good checks. That was it.
Mhm.
He kicked the bucket. But you got to stay active. One of the things that this generation, I'll call our baby boomers, we're finding something else to do. We find a way to recreate ourselves. Okay,
Yeah.
you look and you say, man, goodness, because you got to figure out a way to recreate yourself. You extend yourself and develop relationships. They say your life expectancy can go up. One of the things that happens is, just say, for instance, if you were a baby boomer and you married when you was 20 years old, you married the love of your life. She was a cheerleader and he was the football star. Well, as they got older, what happened, and it's still women outlive men. Women outlive men. So the
Mhm.
likelihood of women being around to 90s, they have to develop some other thing. And women, they found out after they outlived their husbands that they're gonna continue living. Women have social groups, even if they don't get with other men. They finding ways to extend their lives. They're going out celebrating. They have girl nights out and all this stuff. Man, you could do that till you about 80, 90 years old. I know a little
Mhm.
lady. She about 90 years old. She's still running around with her AK stuff on, squeaking, squeaking, squeaking. She steps, all that type stuff. She attend all the class reunions and all that.
Yeah.
She keeps life. So you have to keep life. Going back to, if you just men, on the other hand, if men not active, because what happens as you get older, you got to figure out how to build relationships. Uh, Believe it or not, you're probably going, if you live an extended life, you will outlive a lot of your family, a lot of your friends, a lot of your classmates. So that means a lot of people that used to work with this. So that means you're gonna have to figure out ways to create and build new relationships.
Yeah.
There was a gentleman. Matter of fact, he outlived 3 wives. He
Oh,
died. He was 100. He was 101 when he died. Uh, and I remember, I think his third. That was his third wife. She was about 86, and she died. But she died. He was 96. Okay. He was, he all, because he reached back and grabbed a young one, she was
yeah, keep him
86.
young.
Yeah, but he was 96. So he reached back and grabbed her, but he lived probably another almost 6 years after she died. But he was able, because he outlived all of his kids.
Oh,
She
really?
didn't have any kids, so this is another category, relationships. He ended up living with a distant cousin. Okay, this when families become, and one of them became his overseer. He was a retired military, so he had money coming in. He wasn't suffering. He was retired military, and you know, I remember I went to see him one time. They were staying out in Lawrenceville, and they were out in a nice area, nice facility, all that type stuff. And then uh when I think that was his third or fourth wife, when she died, he went down south, South Georgia, and he stayed lived with one of his distant cousins and he had good faculties. His mind was sharp, because he made a decision. He said, you know what? Since I can't think of his wife's name, since uh, you know, Margaret's going on to glory, I want to go south. So at 96 years old, this guy reinvented himself again. He ended up living with a distant, great distant cousin. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you never know who, if you live long, you don't know, you gotta face that hurdle. You're gonna outlive everybody you know. You're going out and you gotta make adjustments. You gotta keep reinventing yourself because you look at uh I look at seniors, like my mother, man, for all we tried, we couldn't get her to get a computer or nothing. Okay. We couldn't get her to embrace certain things, but she lived a long time. She did. I don't need that. If God got me this far, He don't need me to meet Google. I don't need to be on them book with them faces on it. I don't need to tweet nobody. If God got me this far, I'm good to go. But if you can adjust, I'm not saying you got to get out and hang with all the young people, but you're gonna have to figure out a way to adjust to changes. And that's
Yeah.
one of the biggest situations we will face, other than health and financial situations, because most of us might have a little money and our health might be good, but we got to be able to make adjustment, because when you go somewhere, go in a restaurant, you see robots running around, you be like, oh, honey, I don't know, they moving too fast for me. I don't want to go outside, because they got all these driverless cars and all this stuff. You got to think 10 years from now, all this stuff is going to be reality.
Yeah. Yeah, it is going to be a reality. But what I was going to say earlier, that the seniors, they have to they seniors are more happier than the younger generation, because they don't have to worry about anything.
Oh yeah.
They've lived their lives, and a lot of times once their kids get grown, that's when the seniors really start to live. They don't have to worry about their husbands or wives or whatever. I think it's more women that get out and go than men. So they don't have to worry about that anymore, because beforehand they take care of the kids, making sure the husbands is right and all that kind of stuff. But if husband done passed on, I'm gone too. They travel more, they get out and volunteer more and everything. The seniors now are more active. And one thing I do like about them, they're at a point where they don't give a flip what you think
Oh,
about them. You know,
right
they
about
don't give.
that.
Yeah, they don't care, and now they're more vocal. Whereas
Yeah.
beforehand they might be a little timid with saying something, but now they'll tell you what they think and don't think twice about it. They're not afraid of hurting your
Oh,
feelings. If you're gonna
oh.
try to hurt theirs, they're gonna tell you where to jump off at.
Yeah.
You know?
And in the age of social media, you see seniors doing some things. I've seen seniors just doing their thing, speaking their mind. You see them a lot of time doing the dances and different things. But the
Mhm.
big thing is, staying active. And
Yeah.
the older we get, you know what? There's three things that happen throughout life. You can't get rid of them. You will always find pain. I don't care if you 1, 2, 3 years old. There will always be some form of pain.
Hmm.
When you're young, it might be a crush that goes the other way, and you get love pains or something like that. There's always going to be some degree of uncertainty. You're uncertain about certain things. When you're teenage years, you're uncertain about whether you're gonna finish high school, whether you're gonna get this test done, all this type stuff. And then work. When you're young, you got chores. You got eventually go to a job. Well, as you get older, as a senior citizen, your work is different. You're not working a job. You're working for passion, pleasure. You volunteer. There was a little lady, I think she was about 98. And every day she brought and picked up flowers and took those flowers and distributed them to about maybe 10 to 12 people. I mean, she did that every day for like, they said she was doing it since she was about 80. And so at least 10 years, she might go on to glory now, but that was something she did, pick some, she didn't go to no florist place. She picked them up out of the out the streets. But
Hmm.
that was her passion. As we get older, your pain might be your joints hurting, your back hurting. You get up, you say, "Oh man," but you're glad you up, because the alternative is not being here. You rather have a little bit of pain. Oh, honey,
Yeah.
that's all right. My back hurt, but that ain't gonna stop me from getting here and doing this. Your passion will help you forget about your pain. You
Yeah.
know, I,
You
I
know,
you know, I
I
think.
used to complain about getting old long time ago. I was
Hmm.
complaining I was getting old, and this lady told me it's better than being dead. You
Mm.
know, from that point
Oh yeah.
on, I my whole attitude changed.
Oh
Now,
yeah. Consider the option.
yeah, I'm grateful that I'm aging. You know, I'm proud
Yes.
of it. A lot of people say I don't want to tell you my age, but shoot, getting older is a blessing. You know,
Yes.
are you ashamed of the blessing that the good Lord had put on you? You know,
That's a good
so
thing. Yeah. Well,
yeah,
you
so I'm
ladies,
not
y'all
ashamed
hold at
anymore.
16, but you know what?
We done froze up. So I know that I didn't you froze, Reggie.
Oh, okay. I don't know what was we had a glitch in the matrix. But
Yeah, you said
as we
something about
get
16.
oh yeah, a lot of times back in the day, women said, you know what? I'm staying 16. I'm sweet 16. I'm never. You could never tell a woman she was. I just found her. I would never tell women. Go in there and say, man, I'm no. You glad you hit 40? She said,
Mhm.
please. I'm just 16.
Yeah,
But
and you know
we.
the gray hair people they be dyeing their hair because they don't want that gray in
Oh yeah.
there. I can understand it too because when I turned 30, I got my first
Hmm.
first gray hair. I was making
Okay.
long distance calls about that gray hair. Because
Ah. Well.
that was devastating for me. But
Mm,
now I embrace it because it's like this is wisdom. I got a whole lot of wisdom in my head now,
Right.
so that's what I counted as wisdom. So it's
Well,
not just
well,
something to be ashamed of.
well. Like you say, once and we get this as we hit a plateau in our grayer years. You start to be less concerned about what people think, what people do, all those things. When you
Mhm.
younger, everything is peer pressure. The most peer pressure years they say are teenage years. During the teenage years, you worry about this, you worry about how your face look. Women start to pay attention how their makeup look, how their hair look, all that type stuff, and that goes on all until you hit about 40s. I think it starts to die down once you get about 50. Once you get about 50, men, because we had guys that were physiques. They was cut up. You try to be
Mhm.
cut up, go to the gym and all this type stuff. But when you hit about 50, you say, man, you know what? That's a lot of work. The guys start having pot bellies. The women have to start telling them, hey, you need to do something about that tub you got over your belt. Uh, but
Mm,
because everybody started saying, you know what? We start getting names, love handles, and things like that because you're not living so much to impress people. You find out that you're living for yourself. And I think when you turn that
exactly.
corner around about 50, and it still guys go further because I know older guys that 80. I know a brother, we take look at one of, I don't know where he is now, Mr. Art. Mr. Art was small in stature, looking good, kept himself tight, and he was in his 80s. Uh, so,
Mm,
and I met men that I met a brother, young older brother, he was 90 years old. He held the world record for the 100-yard dash
mm.
for 90-year-olds. And I'm like, I'm like, goodness, what a 90-year-old doing running the 100-yard dash? But you know what? It makes you want to compete because, you know, and this is just me personally. I wasn't a big sports person, but compared, I'll be 64 in a couple of days. Well, uh, I'm not in too bad of shape. If I had to place in 64 or 70 years old, older people, I'd be like Jordan. Now, back in the day, they were the stuff. But you know what I'm saying? We ain't got to, and you learn certain things as you get older. You don't have to be a superstar, you know, but
Right.
you learn to be competitive, especially men. Whether you playing golf, you're not trying to knock the balls all over the court. My dad and one of my cousins, I got a cousin, well, who's my dad's cousin, so I think that's my great cousin. He's 96 years old. My dad is doggone 89. Well, they play golf. They ain't trying to hit the golf balls all over the place. They might talk playing 8 holes of golf, and it might take them all day. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
But the
yeah.
fact that they did it is something they do is competitiveness. And see, as we get older, especially with men, you got to have something that keeps you competitive. Now, it's guys that still run. You're not trying to run super fast. You just jogging, you walking. You know, when I used
Mhm.
to go to these races, 3Ks and 5Ks, I always saw the old little white guy. I was so lazy. I think I was in my 40s, and this old white guy came behind me and said, "Keep up, buddy, keep up." I'm like, man, he looked like he's about 80 some years old, had a cane, and I was like, man, ain't no way in the world I'm gonna let this dude get in front of me. But
Uh-huh.
he wasn't worried about breaking a record. He was just keeping a pace, and he was just had his little old man job. And I learned then. I said, you know what? You gotta keep your it's 5 good areas: spiritually, mentally, physically, socially, and resource wise. if you keep yourself up the level in those areas, you'll find that people get older, they get more spiritual.
Yeah, yeah,
You
they
know,
do.
now, you know, they might not get religious, because some folks say, I ain't going to them churches, I ain't going to no mosques, I'm not going to them temples, but they still have a different vibration when it comes down to the creator, because, they might say, you know what? Now, some people go the direct opposite. They right in there, they on the amen corner, they sitting on the front row, they could be deacons, first ladies, all this, but it still involved spiritually. You go in. I had a brother. That brother was about 90 years old. Man, they said he used to be a pimp, and he started preaching. He started preaching when he was 80. Now,
Oh, really?
uh, he done outlived all of his boys back in the day. Because you
Uh,
figure if he preaching at 90 years old, he done outlived and buried. He would say, "Man, I buried most of my partners." You had them old guys. I buried most of
yeah,
my partners. He said, we
yeah,
used to run the street, do this and do this, run women, all this type stuff. And now I'm a man of God. I mean, now, everybody that can dispute him dead.
yeah.
He now
But you
outlived
know,
about.
that's the scary part about aging.
Mhm.
Everybody start flying, dropping off.
Oh, yeah, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
that's the scary part about it. And so, like a lot of people, they don't even want to talk about death, but it's
Mm.
coming.
It's coming. It's
It's
coming.
it's coming. Ain't no way you're gonna avoid it. So
Yeah, yeah,
you got to be prepared for it. And I know me, I'm prepared. I'm
yeah.
prepared. I got all my paperwork together. I
Hmm.
tell people even what color I want to be buried in. You know,
Oh, okay.
I
What
got
color you want to be buried in?
I want to be purple. My funeral is purple, white, and gold. It's a pearly. I want a pearly white casket
You
with
doing it
gold
like a
trim.
wedding?
Yeah. Well, look. You know
Yeah.
what? My wedding was purple, white, and gold. My
Okay.
65th birthday was purple, white, and gold, and my funeral
Okay.
is going to be purple, white, and gold.
Okay. Well, now look at that. Now see what the baby boomers are doing differently. Back in my grandmother's day, like you said, they didn't talk about death. When my granddaddy died, put him in a dark suit, took him to the grave. My grandmother, you know, she, a white dress, that type thing, pink casket. But see now there's a freedom that's amongst older people. That's one of the pros about it. We don't have to do those old traditions unless we want to. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
you embrace certain things. As we get older. Matter of fact, my class reunion. This is our 45th. I didn't make it down there, but I just lost maybe two classmates over the last maybe 3 months. Two of them we were together since the first grade. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's no guarantee that I'm gonna be around, but one of the things I find when I call a classmate or talk to a classmate, I said, man, you know what? I can think about moments and memories. Some I was there with the first grade. Okay, some was middle school, some uh what's that, junior high, then high school. But you start to value the relationships that you have. And I always remember uh my mother's class, and there was a class before, see, when my grandmother's day, because they didn't finish high school. I think my grandmother stopped school, she was like in the sixth grade. My
Oh
granddaddy,
Lord.
that type thing.
Uh-huh.
Well, as the generation of baby boomers coming up, we started being a part of a lot of stuff. I just had a lady, she just retired from a job. Man, she just like she was had just won won the lottery, turned it out. See, we in that generation that's not gonna go out like our parents. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
uh we gonna and this is another thing, we will find a way to share, delete, or minimize our costs. As we get older, we embrace stuff. I come out the door talking about, hey, you got a senior discount? Hey.
Exactly. I do that all the time.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I like about being a senior. You get those
Mm-hmm.
discounts.
Ooh, you got
A
to
lot
get
of
them.
places don't give them, but I go to Kentucky Fried Chicken, well, Taco
Okay.
Bell. Not all of them, but they give you the senior discount.
Oh
Give
yeah.
you a senior drink. Um, our Krispy Kreme donuts give you a discount.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of places, grocery stores, they have certain
Yeah.
days you go to grocery stores, country
Yeah.
stores, they give you discount.
Yeah.
It's a lot of places give you discounts.
Yeah.
So that's one of
Well,
the things I like. Even when you go hotels, but
yeah.
sometimes the senior discount and AARP may not be as good as those sales you catch.
Yeah. Well, they know seniors traveling, so they ain't trying to give you no discount. Seniors on single-handedly, see, during my mother's days, people weren't thinking about going to Las Vegas or the casinos.
Right.
Look where the seniors at now. They in Biloxi, they in North Carolina, and they about to do it in Georgia. When you go to these little stores, who's in those counters? These little sickos and marathons. Who's in the back playing these slot machines? Seniors, people that retired. You
Yeah.
know, so when you think about it, we are a part of something big. I mean, we setting new standards, new records. Seniors uh, have a big area of what we call disposable income because we the first generation to understand how money works. Seniors sometimes they got property, they retired early, they trying to look at what can I do, where can I go. Seniors you just not gonna put seniors on the porch and I hope they'll get a rocking chair and watch the paint dry and babysit all these little babies. They ain't gonna be like grandmama and them back in the day. You ain't gonna have that. You got grandmamas. I saw a grandmama. She was about 80. I mean, she was 75. Man, she been working out. Man, she's like, oh, she. I mean, and she passed by. She said, I just don't date older men. I mean, now this lady was 75 years old. She said, you got too much gray hair for me. I'm looking for a youngin.
Yeah.
And she was nice looking. Everything had her money right. Everything was right. But see, we redefining aging. Okay, so that's one of the big thing out there. You don't have to. Health wise, you start taking care of yourself. You start putting yourself in position so that you can enjoy your years, your golden years, and golden years not like they used to be, where you're just sitting around and hoping that the sun will come up.
Yep. No, it's not. Shoot, the golden years is when that last one get out of the house, I'm free.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's where. Because I remember when I was telling my son, I'm waiting for you to turn 18. When
Oh
you
yeah,
get
yeah.
18, I'm gone. you know.
Well,
But
look
I
what
was
the
still
scene.
here. But I didn't have to stay at home, and I didn't have to worry about the kids or anything. And I'm
Hmm.
gone. And I wasn't one of those grandmamas who stay home and babysit all the time either. I raise
Oh,
my kids, you raise yours. But of course, I'm there to help out.
right.
I
Yeah.
want to help my children, but I wouldn't just
Well,
be there and just forget about
well,
my life just to raise
well,
theirs. I
well,
wouldn't do
well,
that
yeah. And look
unless
what
it's
we've done.
necessary. Huh?
We changed the language. You don't call us grandpa, grandma. We G mama, G pa. Uh, we got new names for those old traditional roles. We reinvented growing old, or older. We don't even call ourselves old people. We look forward, we embrace uh uh a whole lot. This, like I said, we that generation, that scientific generation that says, you know what, if there's a way to do it, I'm gonna find a way to do it. We'll
So
be
were you
breaking.
called G? grandpa or something? Are you being called grandpa? What are you being called?
Well, I'm semi, but they call me G-Pa. The young ones got a little slang for you, but I noticed across the board, Papa, uh, you know, different terms that don't necessarily mean old terms.
But you know
I'm,
what?
I'm
The first time I heard grandma, I'm going, no!
no, you don't want that.
That sounds old, grandma,
Yeah,
no!
old
Yeah.
fogey.
So I had to get accustomed to it. But I'm Grandma Sylvia.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
you gotta, you know, we in a generation where, not to say older people don't want to get old, but
Yeah.
we embrace growing grayer a lot differently than our parents did. When it comes down to retirement, when it comes down to things that you want to do. Uh, when my mother retired, I think she was like 65. Well, she got to do a lot of stuff that she wasn't able to travel. Matter of fact, she never left the country because she didn't want to fly. She didn't want to get on a boat.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but she did, take tours around the states. Well, as we get older, we find out that we take a lot of those limitations off. We're not afraid to fly. That means that most of us gonna leave America. We're gonna go somewhere else and see something else. We're not afraid to be on a boat. Uh, this is the generation of less fear. Matter of fact, there's some older people that say, you know what, if they brought the flights down, the price down, they'll go to space, up in space.
Oh, really?
See, right now the price tag to take a little rocket ship is about $1 million.
Yeah. But I never could get my mom to get on a plane.
Oh
I
yeah,
was
yeah,
gonna pay for it. She said if God wanted me to fly, He would have given me wings.
yeah, yeah. But
So
yeah,
I never could get her to fly. She never would get on a boat. She said that's too much water for her to drink.
yeah, yeah.
You know,
Well,
so
yeah,
that's never happened. So let's talk about some of the cons of getting old. One of the
okay.
things people have a tendency to do is think just because you're old, you don't know anything. But they
Ooh,
don't realize how much wisdom there is, in the older generation. Because we
oh
live
yeah,
that long, we have all that wisdom. We've been gaining, gaining, and gaining, and you're just getting started in the world. So
oh,
you
you
need to
warming
come to
up,
us with wisdom. And don't think we're old folk and don't know anything. You
right?
know, so that was one of the things. We have that wisdom. Uh, they think we don't know anything, and they want to mistreat us sometimes. They want
Ooh,
to
yeah.
mistreat some of the older people because they're old and you're no good. You don't have any value. And they want to take advantage of you sometimes and take your money and all that kind of stuff. So there are some cons about being old besides you getting
Yeah,
slower.
yeah.
So one of the things you got to do, even though you're getting slower, don't stop. You
Don't
know,
stop. Keep
keep,
moving.
yeah, just keep moving. Exercise, even if you had to do it in your chair, just move side to side. Keep your brain flowing. Keep the oxygen flowing in your brain. You got to keep moving because that's what keeps a lot of the older people going.
Oh yeah,
Doing
movement. Yeah.
exercise, going to visiting people, and the other thing is loneliness.
Yes.
Because younger generation, they have their own little world and they're gonna forget about you. You
Oh yeah.
know, so the older people, a lot of times they are lonely because their family doing their own thing.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, again, that's a part of reinventing yourself. As we get older, we have to look at those days that come in like that. That's why you want to keep yourself as strong and as healthy as possible. There's scams out there that come after older people. There's people
Mm-hmm.
that come out to hoodwink and flim flam older people. But if you keep yourself in some type of loop, some type of social environment. Matter of fact, they got older people. They don't even call them old folk homes no more. They call them senior living facilities. These are smaller places that people say, you know what, baby, I'm selling the house. and I'm gonna live my life. So a lot of seniors are going to places where they don't have to be in hard neighborhoods. Because when you look at it, if you're a senior
Mm-hmm.
and you living in a jacked up neighborhood, I know seniors that can't afford to leave the neighborhood they're in. Okay, you got prostitution, drug dealers, all that type stuff. You don't want that type of stuff. And as a senior, you don't want to come out the door, people shooting across the hall at you because you're living in a place or whatnot. So seniors, older people, especially women, are saying, you know what? I'm finna take this retirement check. I'm finna take this money. I'm finna sell this house. I'm a downsize. And as long as you can keep your faculties, your mental mind, and everything like that, you can go to your 90s and 100. Like I say, there's a little lady, she's 100 years old, staying by herself.
Mm-hmm.
She got somebody come by every about 2 or 3 days. She said, I don't even want her coming by too much.
Mm.
She's, you could say she's feisty, whatever. But we have to figure out ways to stay healthy, stay strong, keep our minds strong, and the less you have to worry about and focus on. One of the things I say, as you do get older, you can't make sudden movements. One of the things now, I make sure, even get out of the bed, I'm thinking before I get out the bed. I'm not jumping up, hitting that
Right.
full, because you'll twist something and you'll be like, whoa. So we pay more attention to our bodies, our mind, our spirits.
Yeah. Yeah, we do. And you got to keep friends too. Don't
Oh yeah,
isolate yourself just because you're getting older. And I know a
yeah,
lot of people say my family, they gone about their business. They don't care about me. But there are other people who need friends, you know,
yeah.
because I know my mom, she just talk. She's on the phone all the time talking to people, when she was living, so
Hmm.
she had her friends. She might have not saw them all the time, but she was on the phone with them talking. So that's important right there, communicating with people. So you
Yeah.
got to communicate. And those people who have family members who are elderly, call them up sometime, go visit, because they would love to see you. Because I remember there was this lady that they used to watch us when I was younger. And when I go
Hmm.
home, my mom would tell me to go see her. She was asking about me and stuff like that. So I say, tell her hi. And one day, I went by to see her. I mean, the woman was like overjoyed to see me. And this was an
Oh
older
yeah,
lady.
yes,
I'm
yes,
going, this
yes,
lady is so happy to see me. I mean, you never thought. Because for me, it's like, okay, she want to see me. Okay, she asking about me. Big deal.
yeah,
Because we take things for granted. When you're
yes.
younger, you take things for granted. You don't understand the value you have to an older person, to the
Oh
senior.
yes.
So we got to, because one day we're going to be there too. And I see
Right.
myself there now, as a senior. And, I got my daughter's in Virginia now, but she was in Hawaii, Japan, Guam, and all those other places. I want my baby home with me, you know? But I realize they have their own lives. And so
True.
everybody that everybody who have kids, they built their lives around them. Now they're gone and you're being by yourself. So you do have to reinvent yourself. You do have to find things to do. Um, and then again, sometimes that's when you just fly away, open your wings and spread your wings and start doing the things you've been wanting to do. This is the opportunity to fulfill your dreams that you didn't do because you were obligated to family. So get out there and do it. Because I know I'm doing more now than I did beforehand than I did with my family, because my family was a priority. I had to raise my kids and make sure everybody was right. So now that everybody's good, I can get out and go and do what I want to do and be happy. Seniors now, they are happier than everybody else because they don't have all those worries. They don't have to worry about people thinking about them, what people think about them. They don't have to worry about bills a whole lot. They're just happy. They don't care what you think because that's them. you know. So it's important. It's important to think life through. It very is.
Well, grandpa and grandmama, if they living, if they together, if they not, trust me, they ain't gonna be sitting around waiting on you to come see them. This new generation of seniors, we're more active, we're more healthier, like you say, and we're gonna find something to do.
Oh yeah, yeah. So I do find some things to do. Like I'm going somewhere this week, not this weekend, but at the end of the month. And I thought we
Okay.
were going to be home for the holidays. Man, I'm going to be in Alabama.
Okay.
The bowl
Whoa.
game. My nephew is playing in a bowl game, so we're going to be down
Ah.
there watching them play. So there's always stuff to do. You're not tied down anymore. That's the good thing about not having a job. You don't have to
Yeah.
say I got to be back for this time, or I can't go because I have to work. That's the pro part of
Yeah.
being, a senior.
And we got social media when you can engage in technology and things like that puts you in place. You can be in so many places, share so many moments and memories over the phone, over these devices. So we're changing the game. It's good to grow gray and
Yeah,
older, more material. It's a good feeling.
it is. And I really feel good about aging. I feel good. I really
Okay.
feel good. Because when I was younger, I was thinking old people are old people. But now that I'm there, it feels good to be my age. I feel the wisdom I have
Hmm.
so much knowledge and experience, and that stuff I can share with other people. And I find myself sharing my wisdom with the younger generation.
Hmm.
That's what the younger people got to realize. These old people got some wisdom they can share with you.
Oh
And
yeah.
you think you have the answers, but your answer might not be the right one. Consult some of us, because we can tell you how to do some things, how to strategize.
Mm,
That's one thing I like about the wisdom thing. Get
that's
it
true.
old. Yep. But it is time for us to go. So what you want to leave for the seniors or the young people?
Uh, Keep it up. Keep it moving. Don't make yourself an easy target by just standing still. Keep moving.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah. So you have been watching Good News at Prime Time with me, Sylvia Hayes, and my co-host Reggie Drama. I just got to say, seniors are the best. I know as we get older, we're going to be dropping off like flowers, like petals on a flower. We're going to be dropping off, dropping off. But as long as you're here, you keep living and don't think about tomorrow, because today is where you got to live, and just go for it. Just live life to the fullest. Don't lay around and just say my day's coming one day. No, exercise,
Ooh.
go walking, visit people, travel, do all the things. Just live life to the fullest. Cook all those good meals and experiment with food. All of that good stuff. Just live life to the fullest, because you only have this one life. You only have this one life. Enjoy your family and friends, and don't make any enemies. And also, I know people don't think because they're seniors that they won't shoot your brains out. Because I know a lot of seniors. You mess with them, they're not afraid now to take that gun out and bust a cap on you, because look, I don't have anything else to worry about, because I'm old now. I've lived my life. If I go to jail, I'll go to jail. That's the way they're going to be thinking, you know. But if you mess with them, some of them will bust a cap on you. So don't think you can just get over on some seniors, because they will mess you up now. Okay. But just praise seniors and love them, because they're not gonna always be here. They're not gonna always be here. When they're gone, they're gone. Love your family, love your parents, sisters and brothers and cousins, and all. And don't take it for granted they're gonna be here tomorrow, because they may not be here today, gone tomorrow. That's the way it is. Again, Sylvia Hayes, Good News at Prime Time. Just love people. Until next week, we'll see you again. Have a good one.